Welcome, football fans, to the 2022 World Cup Final, where there was once 32 teams competing to lift the trophy, and now we're down to two, Argentina and France. He's Matt. I'm Jason. We'll, of course, break that down, and we'll also spend time on the third place game as well between Croatia and Morocco. Matt, what's going on, man? We're finally here. We're down to the last two teams.
Finally here. Yeah, it's what a tournament it's been, and France and Argentina. I mean, you can't ask for a better final. Two teams that are just so elite, have so much talent dripped over the pitch, and yeah, the third place game too. I mean, you'd like to say that Morocco being the first ever African side to play in a semifinal. I mean, that would mean that this is the first ever chance for an African side to take home third place, which is it means something to those guys for sure. Croatia to try to follow up, kind of a runner up, and then a third place. I mean, they what a tournament they've had as well. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to break it down.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with that third place game. A game in which I'm expecting rotation. You've kind of been listening to the broadcast and really how these two nations have played a lot of their players, and a lot of their players, full the 90 minutes and maybe even into the extra time as their games in the knockout rounds have gone to that. So I'm certainly expecting some rotation. I look at these sides in Croatia and Morocco and I think, boy, this seems like an under. Go look up the odds: minus 110 for the over, minus 110 for the under. The thing that makes me maybe a touch nervous in terms of, are you going to look at maybe like a long, standing trend of third place games? 10 of the last 11 have gone over 2.5, with 8 of those 11 cashing both teams to score. I think that's a little contradicting between, based on what you think you would get from these two teams being low scoring. So how are you going to attack this one, Matt?
I couldn't agree with you more. It's a question basically of, do you ride the trend or do you ride what your eyes tell you? And this like that's I mean, as handicapping and sports betting, I mean that kind of question comes up a lot. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
on trends and certain things. So um, it's a good one, and it's one that I think that these lines are going to be pretty cemented for the most part. I mean, there's going to be a few little ups and downs, but I would like to see some lineups before I pop anything here. But I couldn't agree more. I mean, the third place trend, and you just hope that Morocco basically doesn't take it too seriously. I think that's what you're hoping for. If you like an over 2.5, you're saying, I hope this African country really doesn't care about getting third place, because their method to victory in this match is the same DNA that what they've done all throughout the tournament. It would be sit back in a perfect shell, bunker, and be aggressive in the counter attack, not be afraid, not loop balls forward, but more like dribbling through presses and just playing kind of like dynamic football on the counter, but staying really solid and bunkering down on defense. So I need to see some lineups, but I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the trends stack up to both teams to score and an over 2.5.
I think it makes sense. You probably do get this third game traditionally. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. Other guys are going to get an opportunity to impress that maybe haven't played much of this World Cup. I can't imagine betting it. If I bet it, though, I'm not going to bet with the trends, right? So you think of all the people last night that were on Seahawks, because home
Mm-hmm.
divisional dogs late in the year cover. Well, if you backed the Seahawks last night, you didn't give a shit about stats in 2022, because the Niners have the number one defense, Niners have a top rushing attack, and the Seahawks can't stop the rush. Have a terrible rush defense. So I guess if you were on the Seahawks last night, you might as well go ahead and bet over 2.5, because you don't care about season stats. But I care about season stats. I've watched these two teams the entire World Cup, and it feels like an under. I'm really conflicted. Really, really. And like I said, the odds are minus 110, minus 110 to an over or an under on DraftKings.
Which to me shows that, like, I don't think it's going to move too much. So I would just wait. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think there's any reason to go ahead and bet it early. And yeah, the Niners last night, man, I could talk about the Niners for a long, long time. And
Bet you can. Best team in football. I bet you'd love to talk about the best team in football for a long time.
huge ticket right now on Nick Bosa to be Defensive Player of the Year, and
Beast.
15 to 1. It was the biggest future that I've taken all season, basically, in pretty much any sport. I had a really good feeling about it, and so now he's even odds. I'm debating on whether I should hedge or not, Jason.
Yeah. I don't know. He looked damn good last night. Obviously, one of his couple sacks got wiped away for roughing the passer, but Yeah, that's probably going for another day, but yeah, they're the best team in football as of now. Yeah.
Now,
Otherwise, I think it is a lineup checker. I think you've kind of said it. I think that last point you said is kind of good. These prices aren't changing. If you like the over and come kickoff, it's gone to minus 120, but you got that lineup verification that you were seeking. Then okay, I think that's worth paying maybe a 10 cents worse because you've got the guys in the game that will help you get to an over 2.5. So I'll go ahead and lay off this one until lineup times. We've got Michael asking the question here. Nobody's really caring about Croatia versus Morocco. Just like Michael wants to know who the hell is going to lift it. I'll tell you, Michael. Sportsbooks have this at a coin flip. Money line, plus 180, plus 180. To lift the trophy, minus 110 to minus 110. Sportsbooks have it at a coin flip. No injury concerns, no illness concerns, things like that. It probably feels like a coin flip. Two elite offenses, two defenses that have been, pretty good this time. You think there are going to be goals. France, in their last 11 of their last 12 competitive international games, they've had both teams to score. It was just broken last game with Morocco unable to find it. But goddamn, Morocco both has first half and second half. I thought a goal was coming from Morocco. They just couldn't quite have the finishing. Lloris made a couple nice saves as well. But now, Matt, you add in, we've got an illness going through the French camp. And if we're talking center backs, Varane, if we're talking Kanate, can't participate, now I like Messi magic.
I know, and that's where this line is crazy. How many you never see a plus 180 on both sides like this, and minus. It is so rare to not have. And some books, if you look at it, some places have Argentina at plus 175 and France at plus 180, and then some others have the exact opposite. So these books cannot decide on who the favorite should be. They are two very evenly matched teams. Just world class everywhere, and it's going to most likely come down to two players, one on one side and one on the other. And they're both club teammates, and my heart hopes that it's Lionel.
Everybody does. Everybody does. Everybody wants Messi to win it.
100%. And it would be, what a dream that would be, a dream final for his career. And that's what he deserves. I mean, that's how good of a career he's had, to cement his legacy and no one ever question it again. I won't even question if they lose, but
Right,
I mean?
right.
It's just still, God, it's what an incredible matchup. What do you think is going to happen, Jason? And
Well,
yeah, the wrench that's been thrown in late over the last 12 hours or so.
that's what I was just going to kind of get at. Let's kind of go through maybe like possession, over, under. Possession, I think Argentina certainly has more of the ball. Do you think Argentina has more of the ball?
I would say yes. I would say so.
I would think Argentina has more of the ball. From an over under, the under is minus 180. I think that falls in line with kind of what you see in finals and big matches. Is unders come through. Kind of what we talked about. Nobody wants to get blown out early. Be competitive. Give yourself a chance late in the match. But boy, Messi could just ruin some unders. The counterattacking of France can certainly ruin some unders. First half draw looks pretty appealing, minus 120 ish. Without shopping around, I kind of like the first half draw. But yeah, I'm expecting Argentina to have more of the ball, France to maybe play a little bit more counter-ish. This one's tough. And like I said, the sportsbooks have it at 50-50. And it truly, truly feels like this. I think if you put a wager on it, it feels like a coin flip. To be quite honest, does both teams' score hit? I'd like to think both teams' score probably hits. There's enough quality on both sides. I think over the course of 90 minutes, each team probably does find the back of the net.
This one is tough. It's a tactician schematics, like kind of dream, just in terms of how this is going to set up. And I was watching a video earlier this morning. I think it was like, I probably rolled out of bed at like 5 a.m. There was this video online going through kind of the tactics on how the teams will set up. And I completely agreed with everything that this guy was saying in terms of, Argentina will have multiple midfielders in there to try to double Mbappe. Mbappe will be double and triple teamed. They'll need to be wary of Hernandez, the left back who scored the opener against Morocco. He's incredible going forward. So that left side, it's the two flanks that are basically on the same side. So you're looking the left side for France, and then on the back end, you have Lionel Messi right behind on that same side, basically. Okay. So And we know that Messi won't be doing really any defensive work at all. And it was very good. The video pointed out how, and maybe I'll share it on Twitter or something after this because I thought it was great. Um, Rodrigo De Paul hasn't had a great tournament. Like he's an okay passer, not really, but what his role is basically is he has got to be an engine to cover for Messi's walking,
Walking, yeah.
basically. So that Messi can keep his stamina up and be able to make moments of magic late in this match. And um, basically, how I see it is kind of how he was saying. I see it as a canceling out of one another. Um, the I was very close to um, placing a 0-0 first half at around plus 140,
Mm-hmm.
and then right when I'm getting ready to pretty much do it, like I see the notification about Varane and Kanate, and I'm well, I guess I'll just leave it then. I mean, it's not going to move that much, and like, but I want both of them in. I think that my head in this matchup says France if Kanate and Varane start. I think that Kanate is the player here that tips the balance to the edge of giving France a slight edge in this. I really do. I think that he's the best defender that the French national team has. I think that he's clearly better than Upamecano, for example.
Way better.
Who, if Upamecano goes in this, he was getting turned and spinned around by Harry Kane. Imagine what's going to happen to Messi.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in, he's super aggressive, and then boom, Kane just turned him multiple times, caused
Drew the
problems,
penalty.
drew the penalty, all of that stuff. So now it's sitting in it's a sit and wait game. There really is no reason to go through and bet this one after this report that's coming out. Who knows? Because we know that Upamecano was sick, and who else was sick? There was
Rabiot. Rabiot.
Rabiot was sick. So it's just maybe now advancing on
Those
into this.
guys have come off the injury report, so those guys seem to be over their illness. They're off the
And,
injury report.
and if let's say that they both play, I would like Argentina. I think that the edge would tip towards the Argentinians, in my opinion. If Upamecano
For
and
sure.
Rabiot start, I don't think that they're up to this level. I don't, and so yeah, it's kind of thrown a wrench in some of the bets that I wanted to say that I've got. If I see Kanate starting, um, and I did place a little half unit wager on Kanate to be the first goal scorer, because I've been high on this guy for many years now, and I know that aerially he is the best in this match. He will leap the highest, thus he is the toughest cover on set pieces and corners. He will rise above Otamendi. He will
He's
rise
short compared to Otamendi's short compared to Kanate.
exactly, and Kanate's so much stronger
Yeah.
too. And just if any players can set some little like wiggle picks and screens like you see in the NBA, for example, give him a free opening. I like his shots. I like his shots on target. I like his goal. I like first goal scorer because I think that this match is going to be super tight. I'm looking at 0-0 first half. If I get Varane and Kanate, I will be on 0-0 first half because I do think that these two teams will be wary of one another.
Very much so.
Argentina, they've got a perfect blueprint, Jason. I think if you look at, I think that England outplayed France. I do. I think that they just weren't fortunate on that day, and that's just kind of the way that football goes. Sometimes the best team doesn't always win, and but I thought that they nullified Mbappe and Dembele to a perfection. They played a back four, and they had their like right and left midfielders coming back to track and double. We know that that's not going to exactly happen with Messi. Maybe Messi will be more central in this game because he's not coming back to help on Mbappe. Like there is zero of that, and they know that they're going to need some cover there. So I would expect Messi to be very central in this one. So it's all about trying to figure out what the way that the schematics are going to work in this one, and the formations. And we know that the Argentinian manager has played multiple different formations. He's gone back three. He's gone back four. He matched up with the Netherlands on the back 3/5, and then against Croatia goes back four, and
Mm-hmm.
because Croatia's potent midfield of Brozovic, Modric and Kovacic. He wanted an extra midi in there. So he's gotten everything right thus far. Can he get it right again? We're going to find out. Basically, the lineups will tell me, I think, where the slight edge is. Thus, it's still a coin flip from there, probably. But I think that there will be a slight edge depending on like who starts for France.
Yep, I would certainly agree with that. You know what? I think of maybe the two stars in this game, Messi and Mbappe. I'm looking for Mbappe to maybe outduel Messi here. And the reason I think that is look at the last two games France went up against. You mentioned England and Morocco. Kyle Walker, one of the fastest right backs, and Hakimi, super fast. He's actually been clocked the fastest player at the World Cup. Argentina, Molina and Acuna are their two fullbacks. Mbappe is going to blow right past both of those. They don't have a Kimi and they don't have a Kyle Walker. So to do that, you're going to need to give those guys some bona fide help. I'm looking for Mbappe. Been quiet the last two games, right? Mentioned it. Hakimi, Kyle Walker, strategies England use. Argentina's going to have to use some strategies, but I'm still looking for Mbappe to finally have some serious pace advantage that he hasn't had in these last two games. Doesn't take anything away from the Messi magic, but here I think this is a nice spot for Mbappe to get put in by somebody and bag a goal. I'm looking for Mbappe to get on the score sheet here, do some damage, maybe get an assist. I know you like that angle on FanDuel, score or an assist. I bet Mbappe gets a point in this match.
I love that look. I think that you are tactically, Jason, you're spot on. You could not be any more right in this one. I think that he's gone up against arguably the two best defensive. I don't know, maybe Hakimi's not like one of the top defensive
but he's
fullbacks,
got the pace to nullify him.
I mean, Hakimi is the top right back in the world, and Kyle Walker is probably the best defensive right back in the world because of his pace. And we still saw Mbappe blow past him. It's just a matter of that's where I also think that maybe Argentina will like give some possession away to France as well. This is going to be pretty 50-50, I think, possession-wise, because they do not want to get exposed. And that is why I like 0-0 first half.
Yeah.
No one wants to get exposed here, and they are not going to let some over-the-top shit from Mbappe and Dembele go down. If they do, oh my gosh, what a mistake that would be. And yeah, Molina, if it's Tagliafico, whoever, all of those guys are going to need major help. Because Tagliafico, he was great in the semifinal. He started over Acuna, right? And he was great, but he's so attacking. He was perfect for that matchup. But this is like more, you need defensive work. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think that looking at Mbappe, and then also, I think, Jason, that there is just so much pressure on Argentina in this match. I just think that there's so much more pressure on Messi. Look, Mbappe's young. He's already won one of these before. Like, he's going up against the GOAT. Like, you love and you relish in those kind of challenges. You always, when you're playing against the best, if you're a great player, you step up into the moment and you overperform your expectation. And I think that Mbappe shots, I think that the goal/assist is definitely something to look for. But then I also think that Dembele's got an edge over on the other side too. So it's like hard for me to pick between them. Obviously, Mbappe is just the more clean player. But I couldn't agree with you more. I think that Mbappe's kind of got like a free roll here. Like, look, we already won this a few years ago when I was like, 18. Now I'm 22. I'm going up against my club teammate, the GOAT. Like, I think Mbappe could have a heyday. So, like, Argentina have got to get these tactics right. I wonder if Argentina, they might throw a little wrench in this one, Jason, and go back three. Bring in Martinez, your boy. I think that would be a smart move. I really think that Argentina should go back three here.
Back three.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some advanced stats here on Barstools. They've got the possession, Argentina over under at 54.5. So a little shaded more than 50-50. Total offsides is at 3.5. You can get Mbappe to be offsides once in this game at -118. You can get Alvarez to be offsides once in this game at -118. Kind of looking at some other advanced stats. What do we think about cards? I've been way off on cards. You think, these referees have been wildly inconsistent when it comes to cards. Either the game has got a ton and you didn't expect it, or nothing. I think cards is going to be tough. You would think KG final, but it's just these referees have just, it's like they don't want to, put a guy in a bad spot and give him a yellow, even though like the foul deserved a yellow. They don't want to put him in that spot of having to play cautious, and they're just not bringing the cards out. It's crazy. I don't even know if you can play the cards.
I lost a cards bet in Morocco, France. I had over 3.5 cards in that one, and
Morocco, France. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
lost the England one
the
over one
referee
and a
was
half.
cool. Yeah, the referee didn't have a good grasp of the match, and so thus I would say if you're looking to get into the cards angle, you would look live, right? You could only look live, and you could feel out how the referee is acting. You would
Here's some
just try
good.
to drive into the referee's brain, basically, and just say like, how is this guy choosing to referee this day?
Here's some nice player props. Alvarez to have a shot on target minus 136. Enzo Fernandez to have a shot on target plus 220. That looks
I
pretty
can
good. Your soon to be boy.
I hope so. I hope so. I don't know. He looks so good. He looks like he's going to win Young Player of the Tournament.
Messi
And
to
he's
have
got
two
a really
shots is
good.
plus 114. Plus 114 have two shots on target. I did that against, I bet it last game. Who the hell did they play? The Croatia. I got a cash at minus 115. He got two. He got two shots. This is now plus 114.
I would agree that it should be a better price this time around. France's defense is so much better than Croatia's. If if like let's say
If
like
it's
that.
Varane and Venate.
Exactly. So like there's a lot of caveats in this video today. So you've got to remember these things because right when those lineups drop, boom, 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 you got to get right onto it. You got to know your game plan, click, 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 and be ready to go. Because I want to bet this one. I don't think that there's much of an edge. I will say that. Like, I forget the listener that commented earlier and it's like, let's just get to the final. Well, it's like, all the money that we're betting is the same. You know what I mean? So it's like I still do want to look towards maybe an over 2.5 in Croatia, Morocco. There could be a bigger edge based on the trends in that one and how the lineups come out than there could be in this final. And it's always about just not having a bet just to have a bet. It's about having a bet if you have a slight edge and you believe in it.
What about this one to have a shot on target from outside the box?
Okay.
Now Argentina is going to have a free kick from outside the box. Messi, even money, just to put it on target over 0.5. Just put it on target over 0.5. He's taking obviously the kick. That's not even a discussion of who's taking the free kick for Argentina. It's Messi, and the dude's got such good. It's going on target more than likely. I like that. I think player props is the way. I mean, I've been tracking these bets since really they went up Wednesday night. This is another one. They've not moved an inch, so there's no reason to kind of rush right on into it. I bet I play more player props than over unders, first half draws, first half 0-0. Like Messi to have a shot on target from outside the box, even money. Yeah.
I think that you could also look into some of the passing numbers for like the defenders in this match because I think that there's going to be a ton of side to side passing and control of possession. I don't know who is going to control. I would actually that possession one that is so sharp. I have no interest in betting like who's going to win the possession. But there could be
possession one always burns you because that one you can look like an absolute clown because if the tactics don't go your way, whoa, are you in trouble when it comes to the possession. But if you nail the tactics in your analysis, then you can coast to an easy win. That one really can make you look silly.
Yeah, you have to predict game state. So like if you
Right.
wanted to take Argentina over 54.5, like you're basically saying that France are going to get off to a decent start maybe and score a goal. Because if France get off to a good start and score a goal, you're going to win your bet.
Yeah, because now they want to do counterattacking, which is their strength, with a goal in hand.
That's what France will try to do. I would imagine that France will try to come out of the blocks and really put some pressure on in the first 10 to 15 minutes. I would imagine that. And I think that Argentina will be more in a holding type of like get into the flow game state, like where we just want to pass, we want to get into our flow. And I think that France is going to try to knock them out early like they did against Morocco, for example. Like that was the KO knockout for Morocco. I mean, that 5th minute conceding there, like what the hell was that? Like completely against all of their game plans. Like that was pretty.
Yeah, it was a little unlucky. I mean, yes, he did overcommit, which is uncharacteristic of what Morocco did, but then he slipped. I mean, if he doesn't, he could
Yeah.
overcommit and not slip and maybe still be okay. But when he slipped, it's like, okay, well, you now
Yeah,
conceded a
that
goal.
should happen. Yeah, that's something. And that's what this match. This is what how I see this match. It's going to be so tight, so cagey that it's going to come down to whoever makes a mistake. And I don't like those kind of matches. Like it's
Yeah,
just
I know.
they suck from a neutral perspective, but from a betting perspective, I have to trust my gut really on this one and my head basically is just saying I think that these teams are going to feel each other out. I think another maybe decent angle is I kind of mentioned on the last show was, and it would have cashed because our Argentina didn't score until like the 30th, right? And it's like a basically you get an over under on timing of first goal, and it's
Oh,
normally
right.
around the 27 to 30. I would definitely be on no goal for from 27 to 30, and I
Yeah.
would pay juice for it too.
Mm-hmm. Looking more at these player props, Giroud to have a shot on target via a header is at plus 220. I like that one. What about even predicting a guy like Di Maria, who didn't play last game, who if he comes on, he's probably going to get 20-ish minutes, and now you can take an under on him on a player prop if you can correctly predict their line. Now, if he starts, you're in trouble. But
He's not.
I
I
don't
think
think he
that's a.
starts. I think that's a good bet because then I think he comes on for like the last 20 minutes.
Who are some other guys? Because I'm not sure that, and that's the other thing too. It's great. Is like the bet will just void.
If he
Because
never
I'm not
comes on, if he never comes on, avoid. But hopefully, he does come on for the last 20 minutes, and now you've got a bet that's great because these books are basing it on him starting, and Di Maria is probably not starting. He didn't start in the semifinal.
What's the price on it?
It's 1.5 shot at minus 180. So
Yeah,
I think
one
it would be a bar. I
off.
mean, I don't know people's cutoff, but more of a
No, no,
parlay
no, that's
piece.
fine. That's fine. Yeah, no, that's this kind of matchup. Like you have to be able to take some of the juice and just you got to go with it. I think. And so you would take under 1.5 shots from Di Maria at minus 180. I think that that's a great play, and I think that you have a couple other guys that you could look towards in the same vein. Like, do they have Dybala up? Do they have Lataro up?
Uh, Probably.
Those
No.
what
I'm on Barstools. Here's a great one on Barstools. You mentioned obviously the work that DePaul has to do because you even hear the announcers talk about how Messi walks around. Him to commit two or more fouls is plus 150.
yeah.
I'm gonna be.
So another one too that just sucks. I wanted to talk about this. I thought I had a really great edge on Konate, and I looked through his tackling numbers. He had
From the
one.
semifinal. Is that what we're talking?
He had zero. He had zero tackles in the semifinal. He had 5 interceptions. So
Uh,
there's so so he's had one match. He had one match against Tunisia where he had 5 tackles. Then he had zero in the last match, like what we just mentioned, and then he had one against Australia in match day one. And when you look at all those teams, Jason, like for the most part, like none of those squads that he's played against are ball playing sides.
mm-hmm.
And now he's going to get a team that likes to play with the ball, and so he's going to have more opportunities to make tackles. And you're getting an over 1.5 tackles for Kanate if he goes at minus 120. Oh, Messi no goal. I would be
Boo, Brian. Not betting on the Messi magic, Brian.
I would
Boo.
be on opposite.
Let me see what that
He,
price is, Brian. Now you have me curious because Barstools does offer odds on not scoring, which other DraftKings, FanDuel, etc. does not. Now I'm curious, Brian. Let me see what if you don't think Messi can do it.
no, 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 because that's. Can we talk about one of the best
Minus two
futures that I
ten.
still have in
Minus
pocket?
210. What?
Minus two, no goal.
Yeah, you're not betting
Can
that.
we talk about the best wager that I still have in pocket is 40 to 1 on Tina to win and Messi to be to win the Golden Boot. 40 to 1.
He's
It's still
got
very
5 goals. Alvarez has 4, and Mbappe's got 4.
5. Him and Mbappe are tied.
And
Okay, so
Mbappe's
him
got.
and
And I had this conversation actually with a friend. And Mbappe's got the tiebreaker because it comes down to assists. Or no, Messi's got the tiebreaker
Messi has the tiebreaker right now.
because
Yeah,
it comes
Messi
down
has
to
the
assists.
yeah Messi right now to if you want to bet to win the Golden Ball, he's like minus 200 or something to win the Golden Boot. I think.
Yeah, he would have to have
Another one.
Mbappe score at this point to outdo him to have it not come down to a tiebreaker.
And then I've got a 50-1 shot on Julian Alvarez to win the Golden Boot.
He would
So
need a
I would
brace.
need a brace. I would need a brace from Alvarez and no goals from Messi. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possible. You know, I mean, it's up there. But
Yeah.
I took it after he scored his first goal because I was like, through this Lautaro guy, Jason. This guy sucks.
Well, Dybala's
And
coming off and getting the mop up minutes. What you texted me, and I said the same 4 letter word out loud as soon as I saw Dybala. I was like, oh no, that's future is done. If Dybala's getting the mop up minutes and Martinez isn't anymore, which I don't blame him. Martinez, when he blew that chance against Australia, where Messi laid it over and he didn't even hit the target. Yeah, if Lionel Scaloni wants to give the minutes to Dybala, I'm like, yeah, I can't blame you, man.
but I wouldn't mind, Jason. This could be a dream scenario where it's 1-1 and we head into extra time and here comes Lautaro and he has like this like World Cup dream moment for us. Oh God, I can't. Yeah, I can't believe that one. And this kind of sucks. Just this whole matchup. I think that we're breaking it down really well, but there's just been this wrench that's been thrown into this thing. So
The
it's
illness,
really
yeah.
yeah. The illness is it sucks right now.
The last prop bet maybe worth mentioning. Not that anybody's going to bet it. This one's been on every game. I've noticed it. Referee to be substituted 50-1. They've had 50-1 for every match. They've had a referee be substituted. Who is betting that? Well, I mean,
I mean,
for that to hit, you need to have that happen 1 out of every 50 games. I bet that happens like 1 out of every 200. That's not
I mean,
happening. It's not
imagine
happening.
betting on, imagine hoping and betting on like a referee to have a heart attack.
Right.
That's what you're basically asking. Like you're asking for a guy to get a concussion or or drop dead, basically.
Okay. All right, let's get back to Michael's question. It doesn't sound like either one of us are willing to put in pre-match bets. We're both going to wait for lineups. I'm going to be, I think I'm going to pick 2 to 3 of these player props I've kind of mentioned. Guy to get shot on target, yada yada. Maybe a guy to have this many fouls. I think that's where I'm going to go Sunday morning when I see lineups. Of course, unfortunately, you only get an hour to lineups to bet. So make sure you're following us on Twitter. But all right, let's answer Michael's question. I'm going to assume, based on Upper McCanny not playing the semifinal due to the illness, that this illness may be legit, and maybe Varane or one of, if not both, Kanate will be out. I'm gonna say Argentina wins it, Michael. I'm going with Argentina.
Right now, I would say, yeah, I was just going to put that caveat in there. Right now, based on the sickness news and how those two players missed out on the semifinal, and now these other guys are coming out and being sick, I would definitely lean Argentina in that moment. If both Varane and Konate make it, I think that the edge is slightly with France, and so that's where it's at. Really, it's fine margins, and you can tell
Fine.
by the odds plus 180 on both sides. It's very very difficult to split.
Again, minus 110 to who's going to lift the cup at DraftKings. Minus 110 versus minus 110. Feels like a coin flip. That's why I'll be in the player prop market.
Yep.
I think I'll be like that. All right. It all starts, 10 a.m. Saturday? 10 a.m. Saturday is when this ball is kicked. The lineups drop at 9 a.m. Make sure you're following Matt on Twitter. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. You guys have all that information. You guys been hanging out with us now for World Cup and Premier League talk. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for Twitter. I will fire off player props 100%. I'm going to be on a couple, maybe not do game props, but yeah, player props. I could see that. All right, Matt, it's been fun. We've been hanging out for 4 weeks. We've been talking up the World Cup. Obviously, we'll go back to our normal programming per se of talking up the Premier League, but it's been a nice little break. It's been an enjoyable World Cup. Let's hope for a final, like a
Yeah,
good final.
let's hope for a good final. It's been, I would say this World Cup has been a 10 out of 10. Would you agree with that in terms of just the location, how everything's been very efficient? Qatar's put on. I think that they've done a really good job. And so
Well, you haven't been there
hopefully
not drinking the booze. Don't ask the people who are there. They've probably not enjoyed it. There's no alcohol in the
it's been on
stadium.
the house been the boozy. Yeah, I agree with that too. I agree with
Budweiser was
that.
like, "Are you kidding me? We sponsored this thing, and there's no booze at the What are we talking about here?"
Yeah. Oh God. Well, yeah. Hopefully it's a dream final and it ends with Lionel hoisting it because that's really where my money's at.
Yeah. All right, and for everybody out there who's tuned in live, watch these replays throughout the entire World Cup. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us and enjoying into the pregame analysis of each and every single kind of group game and obviously the knockout round. So enjoy the final. We wish you guys good luck on your bets, and we'll see you guys for some Premier League breakdowns once the Premier League comes back. Have a good one, guys.